Well, hello, listeners, old and new, and hello, Sam.
Hello,
Old.
Marcus. You all right?
I'm really well, thank you, mate. How are you?
Very good. I'm worried if I'm old or new now.
A bit of both.
That's fair enough.
Very diplomatic. So, mate, what are you going to be talking about today?
So we're going to come back to AI. We had a whole AI series relatively recently,
Yeah,
but
we
this stuff
did.
moves on so fast.
Oh,
There's a whole area
Sam,
we
so
didn't.
fast.
It's crazy. And there was a whole area we didn't really talk about, which really Marcus got me onto recently, actually, to be honest. Marcus was like going on about Claude. Claude can do this. Claude, I'm like, yeah, Marcus, whatever. But then actually, right, I'm going to have to, Marcus has said so much about this, I'm going to have to try it out. And I was so amazed with loads of stuff it can do. And kind of the main thing that I've started to use it for is what we call kind of AI agents or agentic AI, which people talk about, which is
Agentics.
AI actually doing stuff for you rather than just the kind of up to now we've talked about, haven't we, the kind of the
Oh,
conversations with AI, the creating photos, but not the doing stuff.
Sam, had that AI season at the beginning of this year, which is 6 months ago. I would say the whole landscape of AI is completely changed.
That's it. I mean, the stuff there you can still do. It's just you can do so much more, can't you?
You can do so much
All of
more.
that's still relevant. There's just so much more.
Yeah, and but yet, let me just say, the photographers out there, it's still not. I don't think it's good at photography at all. It takes
No, that's it.
forever to
So
get anything decent out of it.
No, that's it. So I think as we've talked about, the key is about using it for where it's valuable. And to be honest, I think since we started talking about AI kind of a year or so ago, there's much less worry about it from
Mm.
photographers and more what can we use it for to help us.
No, Sam. If just before we start, and I'm not trying to eat into your show too much, but
That's
it's
right.
been on my mind lately, and we will do a show about this. But I think having been diving into it for these last couple of months, there's going to be more work for photographers because there's going to be a massive generation of content out there. The content level is going to go off the scale.
There we go. Excellent. So yeah, I'm going to talk about. So I've been using kind of AI to do things within my business. So I'm going to kind of talk about what I've learned, what you can do, and things like that. And I've been using Claude, but I think, as it always says, other AI models are available. But the kind of there's a hair right in front of me. I'm gonna
No
yeah, it's just run
way.
past. It's just gone back. It was about that far from me.
Wow, the beautiful animals.
Anyway, so that's where we get for recording out in the air. So now the hair has gone. So yeah, so other AI can do this, but kind of the stuff we're talking about before the Gemini, the ChatGPT isn't up with this kind of agentic thing. So Claude's been really good at this. So the first thing, as always in my shows, why do you want to use AI to do stuff for you? And efficiency. It can do way more than you can. Um, Understanding of some things, especially data. It can just
Mm.
absorb data
Oh,
and give you back clear reports that would take, okay, analysts who are really good at that sort of thing might be able to do it. But, for most of us, it's hard to, you can look at the graphs and the data and you go, that's nice. What does it really mean? Well, it can just really dig into it and tell you. And consistency with things too. If you're getting it to do tasks, it will do them really great consistently. So I want to run through a few things I've tried it for, and also a few things you can use it for, kind of ideas of what we're talking about when we say agentic AI, what could it do, and then go into some details. So things it could do your onboarding. So it can hook up with other bits of software. So if you've got software for your accounting, you've got, say, spreadsheets with
mm.
people on, you've got a CRM system, it can hook up with all these systems. So
Can
if
it
you've
though,
got a
Sam?
standard
S-
onboarding, it could
s-
do that for you.
Can it do that, Sam? I don't think it can
Yes.
interact with your CRM.
Yeah, you can. Does with mine. I'll go into it. I've got mine hooked up to HubSpot. It creates people in
Oh, with
there.
HubSpot.
It can
Okay,
add
you're using HubSpot.
details to it.
Okay.
It depends on the CRM.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, all other things. So everything I'm going to come into connections later. Everything you can connect. Some things you can do easily and some are harder. But
Mm.
yeah, I got it hooked up to my CRM. I've got it doing all sorts for that. Sales emails is another really good example, and especially once it knows what you're selling, once you've written a few and given it some examples to kind of tell it, what you're on about, it's amazing at that. And sometimes it now picks me up on, oh, you haven't mentioned VAT or something. So that's kind of, really good. Resource and content creation, and again we talk lots about this, that don't just say make me a downloadable resource about Flash, off you go. But if you're giving it lots of your views and lots of your ideas and thoughts, it can then marshal those into something really clear and branded and everything else. It's that
Exactly. And it
using it for
builds,
the right
it
things.
builds, as you say, it builds and builds over time. The
Yeah,
more you use it, the
that's it.
more it gets to understand you. It's a little bit, there's some crossover problems that they have to start again, do handover documents, but it does build a knowledge of you, doesn't it?
It does, and within Claude, you can get it to store documents. So I set up projects within Claude, and then like a project might be sales email project, and you can get it to go right. Please, everything you've learned in this chat, save into this document and put it in your central store for this project, and then it's got it as a
That's
reference,
correct. It's a
which is
memory.
really
Yes, that's
stunning.
right.
And you can get it to write it itself. That's really good. Another example of things you can do with it. So I've used it with networking follow up, and I'll talk about what I've done with that. But it does all my networking follow up for me really, really well. I'm going to go into the details of that. So app connection. So to be able to do stuff, it needs to be able to connect to apps, doesn't it? It needs to connect to
Correct.
whatever apps you've got. And how well it does this depends on your apps, basically. There's two classes of things it can connect to. Some pieces of software and Claude have got together and gone, let's make a nice simple connection. So for example,
Correct.
I use HubSpot. I just go into HubSpot and click the connect to Claude button, follow the on-screen instructions, and 2 steps later it's connected. It's the same with Google Drive, and then it can
Correct.
access your email, it can access your Google Drive, and a few
Correct.
things like that.
Calendar,
Some other
etc.
pieces of software, I use it with Asana. I don't know about the other kind of project management tasks. There's loads of software. I think quite a lot of them do it. Not all software does. So some software does not automatically connect with Claude, but then there are third-party apps that you can use to connect them together. Now, obviously,
You,
that
you,
makes life harder. It's more faff. You have to pay for the third-party app, so it adds cost, but it doesn't mean it's not possible.
yeah, I think you're a PC user. I think you probably got it a little bit more easier. Being a Mac, it doesn't like some Mac
Most
software.
Most of it is on so it's nothing to do with PC, Mac. All the stuff I'm using is online software. Yes,
Yes,
software using
okay.
on your computer is different. So HubSpot, so all that stuff is online, is
Yes.
cloud-based software. So
Yeah, yeah,
cloud-based
yeah,
software,
yeah.
quite the big cloud-based software, Slack, all the stuff that a lot of people use. There's already stuff made to connect the two together, and you can connect other stuff as well. But as I say, you often need a bit of software in the middle, which is it's all right, but it just adds an extra layer of faff and adds a cost because that piece of software in the middle you have to pay for.
Correct. Yeah, it's
Um,
so yeah, it does for the photographers out there as well doing marketing. It does adapt to Canva. You might not use that, Sam, but
you might do
Canva.
sometimes. I haven't hooked it up as yet, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good with Canva, and they have now also got the Claude Design as well, which I've been trying out. It's okay. Again, it's one of those things. It's probably just easier to do in Photoshop if you know how to use Photoshop.
Yeah. And then one thing that sits in the middle actually is WordPress website. So there's a big thing. WordPress 7 has now come out, and there was a big fuss that this now has automatic connection with AI. And my discovery is you can connect to AI, but it is not simple. I was an
Mm.
afternoon gone doing that. I think the second website
Oh,
I did would be simpler, but the
yeah,
first
yeah,
one was,
yeah.
while literally when I connected it to my Google Drive, I went, press the connect to Asana button, press the permissions a couple of times and it was done. It was that simple.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a learning curve to it, isn't there, Sam? There's a learning
there
curve
is.
to this.
The
Yeah.
other thing is, of course, you don't have to connect everything. You can paste in text, you can paste in documents, you can paste in images, you can upload files, and it can understand and read them. So
Oh,
there's no point
incredibly
spending
so.
hours syncing everything if all you're wanting actually is to get some data. You can just download some data in a CSV file, copy and paste the screen, and it can understand it. So there's always a balance. This you can spend
That's
forever
right.
trying to sync everything, and I think the key
That's
is
right.
what's actually useful to you.
Yeah, I say my CRM. I download the data as an Excel spreadsheet, and it goes straight into Claude,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it can work out from there. Yeah.
That's it. So I'm going to talk through a few examples of what you could do, maybe what I've used it for, and how you could set it up and stuff. So the first one is post networking. So you go to a networking event, you come back with a pile of. I'm holding my hands up, not helpful for those people on the podcast who are just listening. You come back with a pile of business cards. Now, I have a thing that some people don't give you business cards. To me, that's still annoying because digital business cards, if there was one app, it would be easy because you'd have one app to look at. But I find at the end of nowadays, at the end of a meeting, half of the people giving you business cards, great. The other half, two of them connected on LinkedIn. One of them gave you this weird electric thing. One of you sent an in, which is just a pain in the arse. Give people a business card. If you haven't got one, get business cards and give them to people. Anyway, rant over about business cards. I think I did that in the newsletter the other day. So after I've been to a networking event, all I need to do now is I photograph all of the cards, which obviously isn't that hard, is it? That automatically uploads to Google Photos. Most of us get that, and then I can easily just pop those in my Google Drive. Once it's in Google Drive, I can just say to Claude, I've been networking, photos are in that folder in Google Drive, and off it goes, and it will read all of the cards from the photos. It will create every single one of them a record in my CRM. It'll add into that record a note of where I met them and when.
Mm.
It will also, if I ask it to add a reminder in for me to talk to them in a couple of days to say, didn't we have a great time? So that connection with the CRM with HubSpot, we had a whole show about HubSpot recently, but other CRMs do the same thing, is amazing. It just, that would take me half an hour after networking. Nowadays, it's bang, 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 take the pictures
It's
and it's
right.
done.
So
It's just
true.
stunning, and it can
Yes.
create those records straight off. Really,
Yeah.
really easy, no problem.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I get it to do more than that. So it also then what it can also does then is creates me a document, which is a big pile of LinkedIn profiles. So it then goes, here are all the people, here are their LinkedIn profiles, so you can go and connect with them. And it's gone on the line, it's searched for them on LinkedIn, it's found all their profiles. And for those it hasn't found the profiles, because I've met them, it hasn't, if you know what I mean. So something that goes, I'm not sure which person it is, but it gives me the link to the search for that person. And 9 times out of 10, the person I want's at the top of that search. So that's not a big extra step. But it's got the judgment to go, yeah, that's definitely that person. That's definitely that person. That one, not so sure. Here's your search list. And it just gives me a page of links. So I can just go through and go bang, connect, bang, connect, bang, connect, bang, connect.
Of course.
Job done.
Job
What it
done.
can also do then, if I'm not going to do it straight away, it can go into Asana, or if you're using Monday or whatever else, same thing. It can create me a task that says, Sam, due on Monday, go through this LinkedIn list and make the connection. So it's setting reminders for me as well. It
Yeah.
can
No,
set
it's
up whole
very good.
projects in
No,
Asana.
very good.
So, and the first time I did it, it took a while to set it up, but then you were away. Sorry, Marcus, go
That's
on.
right. Yeah. So, are you on the paid version?
Yeah, so I think the unpaid version does very little.
Yes.
I've tried it,
I
and
think. Well,
after about
it's
3 minutes, I ran out. It was like, okay, you need to
that's
pay
and
to
it
try
also
this.
lacks the rigor as well. It won't. You
Yeah.
do need the paid version. I think it's $20 a month for the
It's something like
lowest
that,
one.
and there's not a site if you pay for the year, but if you do month by month, $20 to give it a
Gosh,
try is not,
it's well
it's not the
cheap.
end of the world.
The only thing I feel, Sam, is that it's going to rocket up in price at some stage. They're going to get all these little
Potentially.
bugs. They're going to iron them all out. It's going to be seamless, and they say, okay, now it's going to be X amount of money, and think, oh god, okay, let's go for it.
Potentially. We'll see. So,
We'll
yeah,
see.
I mean, just that type of task thing, we think, right, what am I doing? Well, I'm doing a lot of kind of data faffing. I'm doing a lot of adding stuff in. I'm going a lot of putting something in a spreadsheet, putting in something else, just kind of grunt work like that. It can just do. And yeah, the first time you do it, it takes a bit of faff and it takes a bit of thinking, but it then knows the flow. It then remembers the flow. It remembers the problems you had the first time and how to solve them and how you solve them. So the next time you just go, okay, here's the next time, off you go, Claude, and you go, okay, and it's
And
learned
does
and
it?
it knows what
I-
to do and it can just get on.
How are you doing with the tokens, Sam? Do you run out of tokens on a daily
I'll
basis?
be honest, the only time so that basically it's like ChatGPT, isn't it? That if you use too much into one go, you will eventually run out of resources.
Yes.
The only time I've ever done that was trying to get it to design my lounge and creating
Ah,
endless images of the layout. Beyond that,
images.
work wise, never. No,
Well,
not
well,
hit across a limit once.
well, I do. I run out of I run out of my limit by about midday every bloody day.
Eh,
I have it on 2 computers going at once, but I've had a massive
okay,
restructuring going on my business at the moment. That's why I've been doing it a lot.
okay,
But PDFs, it does and screenshots. It encourages you to do screenshots, but it does use up a lot of your
yeah,
token.
it will
But
things
it
like
does
that.
refresh. You just got to wait. You just got to wait, and it
Yeah,
does refresh.
that's it. So yeah, I mean, we're talking about that. Yeah, I think limits is an important thing to talk about. So yes, I mean, you get. I don't know how they do it, but effectively, yes, within a certain period of time, you can use a certain amount of AI processing power. So if you are really doing vast amounts of stuff, or like Marcus using several computers at once to really hammer it, you will eventually run out of resources and you can
I
upgrade
can't be.
or
I
just
can't wait.
wait.
I'm not patient enough. I thought, I've got to find out now on the other one. Yes, yes.
So there's that. The other thing I've found with a lot of these things, which I'm trying to get to do automatically, is it cannot monitor things. So, like for example, because we do websites, I have, people have faults, obviously, and we have like a ticketing system where people can send in a ticket. People could email you for various things. And so what I thought would be really great is, oh, right, Claude, every time somebody sends in a support email, or, you guys go and somebody sends in an email asking for this, can you do this, do that, and do the other? And the answer is no, it can't. So what it can't do is sit waiting for an email, waiting for a WhatsApp message or something, and then act on it. It can't do that
It-
monitoring. So it will
not
only
even if you,
act
not even if you
when you
set up
tell
an
it.
app. Not even if
No.
you set up an
So
app.
yeah, so you can say it's the third party apps I'll come on to. So yeah, but
Yeah.
as it is, as standard, you cannot get it to monitor email, monitor Slack, monitor messages, monitor WhatsApp. It will sit and do nothing until you go, Claude, could you do this? You could every day go, Claude, can you check all my emails? And it will, but you can't say, Claude, can you sit and monitor my emails? It can't, and tell me.
Yeah, right.
You can't say, Claude, sit in the background. And if an important email comes in from this person, this person, this one, tells you, it won't sit there and
That's
do it.
right.
You could, at the end of the day,
That could
go, Claude,
change.
do things.
That that could change in the future. I mean, the problem with all this, it's data, isn't it? It's data and resources, et cetera, and the planet all comes into it. But it could change. There's something I want to talk to you about when you finish talking, actually, Sam,
Cool. So
about that.
let's just do the third. Cool.
Yeah,
So that, I'm
yeah.
coming to just a second. So the only thing that you were saying about apps. So yes, there are third-party apps that
Or build
can
your own app. I was
basically.
talking about build your own app. I
Oh,
actually
okay.
meant
But there are pre-made. That's getting complicated. But
it
there are
is. Yeah,
pre-made apps where you can get the where you can get it to do the monitoring and then prod Claude. So effectively, you can get other apps that like monitor your inbox and go, oh, there's an inbox from that person, and it tells Claude, and then Claude wakes up and does whatever it's supposed to do. So you can use third-party apps to do that monitoring for you. So you can get it to work, but again, it's just it's more money because you're paying for another app on top of Claude and stuff. So
that's something.
I
Yeah,
think with all of these, you have to just be aware of the subscriptions you've got, don't you? And go, right, what am I already paying for? What am I paying for
exactly.
now? Am I then getting Claude and then paying 5 subscriptions on the top, or and is it worth it? It's working out the cost benefit like with anything in business.
Indeed, it is. Yes, but it's certainly made lots of leaps forward. It's quite good fun to use. That you can talk to it, and it, can understand. It's amazing what it can pick up with your voice. You can just ramble on, and it makes sense out of it.
You can do again. That will probably decrease what it can do for you usefully because you're spending your limited processing time you've got on decoding your voice.
Yeah,
You type, you'll get much more
it's
bang for your buck.
it's mainly the PDFs, but yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's So I was going to talk to you about Sam. Just very
Yeah.
briefly. I see we come to the end of the show, but do you know much about these LLMs taking them off the servers and bring them onto more of a local onto your laptop?
So but it's still all the most of the stuff is remote. So I've got Claude Desktop, but it's still the most of the learning is not. Most of the Claude stuff is still all in the
Yeah,
cloud.
but
It just stores some stuff locally.
it's not through cloud. It's not through Claude. Sorry, it's another way of using these
No,
LLMs without going to off site. You do it on your yeah. It's something I've just been reading about,
okay.
and if one of you've heard about it yet, let's
No, not really.
maybe another time for another
Nothing I know
conversation.
about anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah. So to be honest, that was most of the stuff I was going to talk about. The
yeah.
only other thing I actually haven't mentioned is data analysis. It is really good at. So
Oh,
like if you've got a report on your, LinkedIn posts and you're looking at them and we can all look, can't we? Go, oh, that one went well. That's nice. Oh, and that one didn't. So, well, that's nice. I'll try and remember vaguely. And that's, for most of us, that's is it. If you can get your report data into Claude, it will then give you some really, really hefty analysis, really
indeed.
good analysis. And not only that, but it will be able to tell you where to get the data from. Because sometimes, I don't know about you, you're going, well, what data is the most useful? So you can go, right, Claude, here's some data. What can you find out? LinkedIn posts, and how I could do better in the future, and what more data would be useful for you to have. And it'll go, oh, well, I want this data. If you go to this settings and press this, and download, you'll get it. And then can you share it? And so it
Yeah.
will tell you where to get the data. And then you can give it like the really detailed stuff, and it's away.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it's good for, Sam. It's data. Do you have your setting? Have you changed the way the criticality of it all?
So you mean the model? So you can choose which model and
Yeah.
which level, can't you?
Not
So
not
I
not
don't
so much
often
that.
change. So
No,
if
I
I'm doing
mean,
something really
no,
complicated, you can do.
no, no. I don't mean that. I mean the way that it gives you the information. Like if you go to Gemini on when you don't pay for it, it's all everything's wonderful and it's all brilliant. And Claude can be a bit like that, and so you have to say to it, "Okay, give me a critical view on that."
Oh, I see. Yeah, you
And
should
so
try
it's a
and
bit
make
more
sure it's doing
stern.
that
In
because
fact,
yeah,
it's a lot.
they are. Yeah, they are almost built to please, aren't they? Which is why they
Well,
had the issue with them encouraging people to commit suicide issues and stuff. Because whatever you're saying you want to do, it's trying to encourage
yeah,
you.
that's right. But if you
Yeah,
can, if you say it to it
no,
to
you
be a
definitely need to
critical
make
or
sure
be
it's
more
being
with
critical. You almost
rigor,
ask them twice about
yeah,
some stuff. Yeah, yeah,
that's exactly what I do. I
yeah,
give it one view, a positive view, and I give it a view that will never, I'll never even put it out there, So yes, yeah, it's good to do that.
yeah.
Excellent,
That's
Sam. That's
it.
been really, really good. Obviously,
Cool. So yes,
I'm
hopefully,
glad you're
lots
finding
of
it good.
lots of stuff you can do to improve your business, make your business more efficient, make it so you're having to do less of the grunt work. And please, listeners, share what you're doing with it. If you've got some really interesting stuff you've been doing,
Yes,
you've hooked it up with your CRMs, if you're using it for onboarding things, tell us what you're doing. We'd really love to hear that.
indeed. Nice one, Sam. Thank you very much.
Cool. That's right. And I'll see you next week, Marcus.
See you next week, Sam.
Cheers.